Get the go-ahead field goal. So here we go. In regulation, 45 seconds left. Danny Woodhead on the little pass for a 20-yard gain. They're in field goal range. And unlike the Arizona Cardinals game earlier in the year, Gostkowski bags it through. We are going to overtime. In OT, Brady and company possess the ball first. Wes Welker gets the sidelines, picks up 12. They're in field goal range. Later in the drive, Gostkowski from 48, really tracking right towards the bullseye. That was in the stands. Patriots up 29-26. So the Jets have to score on this possession or the game is over. Rob Ninkovich says the game is over. Comes through, big sack, recovers the fumble, and the Patriots survive.
You know, players did a good job. They fought hard. We had our ups and downs, and in the end, we didn't made enough plays to win.
And I like it when the outcome's good, and then I like it when we execute well, and there's a lot of satisfaction when we do the right thing. But we did a good job of it when we needed to. I thought there were some good plays that the guys made. Everybody really contributed.
Overall, you know, at the end of the day, they out executed us, and that's all I can say about it.
Well, the Patriots got the win, but they're going to have issues. Since outscoring the Bills 31-7 in the final quarter, week 4, the Patriots have been outscored 34-6 in the fourth quarter over the last 3 games. They very nearly coughed up a 10-point fourth quarter home lead for just the 3rd time in franchise history. And Merrill, they have given up back-to-back double-digit fourth quarter leads for the first time ever. It happened in a loss in Seattle the week before. This one, they managed to send it to overtime, but they coughed up another double-digit lead late. What happened to the Patriots that we used to know that were great at closing games and were exceptional at situational football?
Well, they have some inexperience in their secondary. That's first and foremost. But in watching the last few weeks, I think the greatest concern that Bill Belichick probably has for his defense, and something that will have to be figured out prior to going to the playoffs, if you're going to make the playoffs, is getting more consistent pressure. They just have not done a very good job of doing that. They're young in the secondary, and that rare combination equates to allowing offenses to be extremely successful throwing the football. The Jets are not, by any stretch of the imagination, one of the best in football, but watching this game, Mark Sanchez sat there and had all day long. Now, in overtime, I got it. They got the pressure when needed, but it was the only time that they really got any pressure. Somehow, they have got to get more consistent pressure, and that will help their secondary. But it has to be a combination. When you talk about defenses that are great against the pass, they have both of those things. They get after your quarterback, they cut a second off, and then the secondary plays much better. Until the Patriots get better there, it's going to be tough to beat a team like the Texans.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Jets and looking like they were a pretty good football team. I've been impressed with the way Rex Ryan has rallied this team when they've been decimated with crucial injuries to their best players. But you just can't win football games by making some of the mistakes that they made. Giving up a kickoff return for a touchdown. Those points on special teams will get you beat each and every week. Having guys wide open in the passing game on double moves and being late with the football, hanging it up there.
That was an arm punt.
Yeah, I mean, it's awful. So there you go. Fumbled quarterback running back exchange because of penetration in the run game. And then in crucial moments of the football game, an opportunity to keep the clock moving, potentially score and end the football game rather than tying the football game, dropping passes. I look at this, and I think you're right, is why there should be concern in New England, is this really, to me, was more about Jets' miscues than it was about that Patriots offense or Patriots defense taking over the football game.
Well, not only that, but if you look at the way this game started, I think it was 16-3 at one point, all kinds of them. You got to give the Jets defense all kinds of credit for eventually hanging in there and shutting down that Patriots offense.
They played hard the last 2 weeks.
They didn't quit for 1 second in this game, and they just made a few mistakes down the stretch close. Neither team's got to feel real good coming out of this game, even though one went on to win. If that wasn't enough, the Giants-Redskins game was a pretty good appetizer earlier in the game as Eli Manning has struggled against the Redskins. They were swept a year ago. RG3 trying to continue the freak show he's put on already. Eli struggles against this defense, and he just throws that one in between 2 receivers, and it's picked up by Josh Wilson to the Redskins 15. And watch what happens here. After the interception, Ahmad Bradshaw sort of trying to get Victor Cruz going, smacks him in the head, and then spikes his helmet on the sideline. Also went after it with Tom Coughlin and his position coach. But ensuing Redskins possession, RG3, that's one he wants back. Off the play fake intercepted by Stevie Brown, and he returns it all the way to the Redskins 35. All right, so we go to the fourth quarter. The Redskins trailing 20-13. RG3 with the play. There's just nobody that blocks Jason Pierre. Ball comes out. The Giants recover. But on the first play after that, what happens? Eli goes back to pass, and he's picked off by Rob Jackson. And Manning, when he sees the stills, I can't believe I did that. Redskins
Would Super Bowl with James Harrison dropping out?
would get a field goal trailing at 20-16, over 2 minutes left. Look at this play. Are you kidding me? Ankle breaker crossover in football, RG3 on 4th and 10. I think we're all looking for Logan Paulson in that situation.
That's JPP, by the way. He's making Jason Pierre-Paul look like
silly.
a fan stuff.
Silly.
Yes.
All right. So then, Griffin, a perfect touchdown pass to Santana Moss. The Redskins take the lead. Merrill, how good is this kid?
Trey, RG3 gets better and better every week. People are wondering, can he ever play from the pocket consistently? Exhibit A, there's no question he can. Now let's jump in the backfield with RG3. The first thing that he is identifying and looking for, always locate the safeties. There's a single high safety, so now he looks over here to the right. It looks like man-to-man, and here man-to-man. He knows one other thing based on scouting reports. This guy right here is an R. That means he's a rookie, and this is a 12-year veteran. So he loves that matchup. As long as the protection is good, RG3 knows right where he's going to go. Well, at the snap of the ball, take a quick peek at the safety up here. Look at how flat his feet are. He gets no depth. Look at this defender. Moss is already parallel to him, doing a great job of climbing him. So that means all RG3 has to do now with this matchup, he has to put the ball perfectly right there on the money, which he does. He reads the coverage, reads his mismatch, and then puts a perfect strike for Moss. And that could have been the winning play for the Washington Redskins, but there was too much time left in the game.
That was the rub. Okay, and we all know Eli Manning is pretty good in the fourth quarter for the last couple of years. But did anybody think on 2nd and 10 they were going to do this? Dials up a 77-yard strike to Victor Cruz, who streaks into the end zone. Giants take a 27-23 lead. Tim, how did that happen to the Redskins secondary?
Huge play by this Giants offense, and it's because the quarterback and wide receiver read the coverage the same way. You look at the Giants, they're getting a pre-snap read of quarter, half coverage. And so what that's going to tell Victor Cruz, that's going to tell him that while his stem is the same, he can make some adjustments off of this route. So he's going to push up the field about 10 yards. And then when he reads that coverage, he can either set it down or end up snapping it across, with a possibility, if the safety's flat-footed, of ending up just running through that coverage. And so when you see this play develop, you're going to see his adjustment at the top of the route. So we freeze it right here. It's actually not quarter, half coverage. If you look at what happens, you look at the Washington Redskins, they're actually have a vice on Victor Cruz anticipating an option route. Josh Wilson playing underneath, and the safety, Medulla Williams, looking to jump any outbreaking route. Well, Victor Cruz reads it perfectly, as does Eli Manning. He runs through, Eli sees it, Victor Cruz sees it, off to the races, and that's why you have a touchdown. Outstanding read by the quarterback. He usually gets a lot of the credit, but the wide receiver reading the coverage the same way.
All right, so now one last chance, guys, for RG3 to pull something out of his hat yet again. First play from their 20, Griffin to Josh Morgan. Morgan fumbles the ball and somehow gets more yards out of it, up to the 32, gain of 12. 2 plays later, again, about 45 seconds, lots of time. RG3's moving him again, Santana Moss, but this one comes out. The Giants recover, and in one of the most unbelievable games of the season, the Giants hang on to win 27-23.
There's certain games you'll be a part of that, you should have won and you lost, and there's some games that, you should have lost and you won, and we feel like this is a game that we should have won.
We knew it was going to be a struggle right to the very end, and it certainly was. We got the turnovers. Of course, we turned a couple of over too, just to keep it interesting. Looking at the back of 80's heels there at the end, holy cow, what a great feeling that was.
Something we've been really good at over the years is a 2-minute drive when the game is on the line and making plays when we need to make plays.
Well, they needed to make a play, and they made it. By the way, Cruz's game-winning touchdown, the 6th of his career, touchdown-wise, of at least 70 yards. That's as many as any receiver has had in the last 10 years, which is even more impressive when you consider that Cruz didn't have his first catch in the NFL until last season. Still ahead on NFL PrimeTime.
You get in the shower, you're going to get wet. They whipped our
Something going to have to change real fast.
Chris Johnson looking for room up the middle, finds it. 20, 30, end zone, touchdown, Titans.
Jonathan Vilma returns to the Saints, but it's Drew Brees who leads the Saints to the win. The Cowboys get a close one in Carolina, and there's a new quarterback on the hot seat. No starters, no problem. Big Ben returns home to Ohio, and he does what he always does there. Plus, the NFC North leading Bears take on the struggling Lions. We break down the Monday night matchup on PrimeTime.
Sunday Night Football doubleheader live on ESPN America. It's full-on action as the NFL takes over the home of football, where the Rams of St. Louis welcome Brady and the Patriots to Wembley Stadium. Then it's back across the Atlantic as the Giants and Cowboys renew their rivalry in the NFC East. It all starts Sunday at 1500 CET with Sunday NFL Countdown. Sunday Night Football live on ESPN America, home of the NFL.
No timeout lost on the other side by Tennessee because they were right on the challenge. Look at this, a little throwback action. We've seen that before. That's Tommy Campbell. Tommy Campbell will score. Remember the Music City Miracle? 62 yards. That is a huge play.
How about Calvin Johnson? He's good. No kid. He's got a chance to make it in this league. You think? Yeah.
What a catch in traffic by Megatron. The wise man who once said this about throwing to Calvin Johnson. It's never a bad option. Megatron, you are crazy. Throws once Calvin left sideline. Calvin, oh baby, what a catch. It doesn't get much prettier than that. It's a heck of a combination for the Detroit Lions. Show me a receiver better than that young man in the NFL.
College Pass on ESPN Player, the home of live and on-demand college sports. Hundreds of college basketball and college football games, including the Bowl Championship Series, the BCS National Championship Game, plus March Madness, college baseball, and much more. You can even pause and rewind the action so you never miss a play from your favorite team. It's your sports, your teams, your rules. Live, on demand, and all from $9.99. Sign up to ESPN Player now.
NFC North Showdown coming your way on Monday Night Football tonight as the Bears are hosting the Detroit Lions. Time for a DirecTV team report, and we say hello to Lisa Salters. Lisa, the last time these two teams played last year in Chicago, it got a little chippy. What do we expect when these two meet again at Soldier Field?
Well, probably more of the same, but this is the 165th time, will be the 165th time that these two teams will face each other. Only the Bears and Packers have played against each other more. That's so they're second in league history, and you know they just know each other far too well, and they just don't like each other. Like you said, the last time they got together, Matthew Stafford got into a scuffle with a Bears DB, and that led to a sideline clearing altercation. Jay Cutler had his helmet ripped off in the game. Calvin Johnson took a vicious hit when he went across the middle. Matthew Stafford described the rivalry to me this way. He said, heated, and guys definitely run their mouths a little bit more in this game. And Ndamukong Suh added, we're always going to be trying to embarrass them as much as possible. And Bears linebacker Lance Briggs says, you know going in from the get-go, it's going to be physical. They're going to try to finish you. We're real familiar with each other. It's going to be nasty. So probably, Trey, more of the same tonight.
All right, Lisa, thanks. So in other words, the game should be a lot like the weather. Looks like it could be a little nasty out there in Chicago. Tim, about Matthew Stafford. Okay, last year he showed us when he's healthy, he can play very well. This year, does he need to show us he can correct some sloppy mistakes?
Yeah, I think here's the frustrating thing when you watch him. The guy is supremely talented, has maybe the best arm in the National Football League, but he's gotten into some really bad habits, and that's caused that offense to leave points and just first downs out there. 3rd and 5, look at the here. Shallow cross by Calvin Johnson. Look at that room to run. This should be a first down. Ball out in front and then run after the catch. That's a big target, and that's a bad miss. You look at Matthew Stafford, and you see why. Look how sloppy he is with the footwork. Doesn't open up to the target, drops his elbow, ball ends up taking off on him. And this has been a reoccurring theme for him. Look against the Philadelphia Eagles, trying to throw the seam route. This is bad. You see, well, he just missed him. Look at this from behind. Falling away, drops the elbow. I mean, that's playing short. We talk about how tall a quarterback is. That's playing like you're 5'9". Here you go again, same football game. Shallow cross again. Got the shallow cross wide open. Nate Burleson, should be a catch and run situation. Look at Matthew Stafford once again. Just lazy and sloppy with the footwork, dropping the elbow down, missing the throw. It's frustrating to see this because we know how good this guy can be, but you can't get away from some of the fundamentals of the position and think you're going to continue to get better as a player in the National Football League. Especially against the Chicago Bear defense. Folks, as you watch this game, and you probably hear the Bears, they play a cover two, they're a cover two shell. This defense gets in cover two seldom. They are A-gapper pressure defense across the board. They start with the A-gap, lining up by the quarterback, then they press you on the side, man-to-man, and they make you adjust. Here's 3rd and long. They dictate. They get pressure on your quarterback immediately in that A-gap. They play tight man coverage. You throw it quick, we make tackles. Even when they don't pressure you, they make you play fast. They make the wide receivers play fast, quarterback play fast, because the illusion of pressure. It starts in the A-gap, and it permeates throughout that defense. They don't sit in zone. They don't sit in cover two and give you voids. They play pressure-style defense. It starts in the A-gap. They make you play fast. You make a mistake. You underthrow it. They pick it off. They go to the end zone. When you look at the things that Tim just mentioned about, you must be fundamentally sound to execute successfully and consistently against this Bear defense. We saw it on a night against the Dallas Cowboys. They force you to throw the football. They dictate. They're as good as anybody in football at dictating to you, throw that football, and we'll be there to tackle it, and we're going to smother everybody. It is an unbelievable defense right now.
All right, with that in mind, who wins this game? Who do you like?
I think the Chicago Bears win the game. That defense, so good under Lovie Smith, turning the football over. Matthew Stafford, 7 picks this year. I think that's the key.
And more balance in Chicago's offense than Detroit. Detroit's trying to get their running game going, but I think the combination, I like the Bears as well.
Well, listen, I'm going to agree with both of you, and here's the telling stat when you look at it. The Chicago Bears in that defense right now are the first team ever to have 5 pick sixes through their first 5 games played. They've taken back 5 to the house already through 5 weeks of the season. Lots more coming for you here on this edition of NFL PrimeTime. Week 7, we already showed you 2 unbelievable finishes, and that was the tip of the iceberg. Lots more down to the wire as we continue.
With the Fall Classic in the air, ESPN America is giving you the chance to vote for your favorite baseball-themed 30 for 30. Choose from the House of Steinbrenner.
I want you to go out there and bust your butt, and I mean bust your butt, and you better not disappoint me.
Silly Little Game.
The game as we know it can be recreated from numbers.
Or 4 Days in October.
Red Sox winning.
Visit ESPNAmerica.com to cast your vote.
The Giants-Eagle rivalry is something special. That week is always a big week.
So many common things, almost too common. It makes them not like one another.
Never have, never will.
We don't like the Giants at all.
Eli, nobody loves you!
Point blank period.
They don't respect us. They ain't built like us.
That rivalry spans over decades.
That's not Michigan State down there. That's Philadelphia. A city of brotherly love, but it's really a banana republic.
The two sides reached agreement on a 5-year, $96 million deal.
Peyton Manning is going to be the next quarterback of the Denver Broncos.
I'm very excited to begin the next chapter of my playing career for the Denver Broncos. And this truly is a special football environment, and I am glad to be a part of it.
Mark Sanchez, I don't know that he can take you to a championship. How do you fix Sanchez?
Sanchez back to throw. It's picked off.
Have to see a tremendous growth.
Sanchez fumbles the snap.
Sanchez going in zone again. And picked up.
Is that raw chicken?
Yeah.
What's that dripping from that air conditioner?
Kool-Aid?
What's that smell? Is that the time?
Please, please.
Yes. Everything seems tip-top to me. I will see you next year.
We continue here on Primetime. Trey Wingo here with Tim Hasselbeck and Merrill Hodge. Guy, the Saints coming off their bye, looking for something they hadn't had yet this season.
What's that?
A winning streak. By the way, going to Tampa, not the best place to do it. Drew Brees 6-6 lifetime against the Bucs since coming to New Orleans. But there's Jonathan Vilma. He's back and ready to roll. Second quarter, Saints down 21-14. Drew Brees to Joseph Morgan. You will not see a more exciting play all season. Oh, that's just ridiculous. It never touched, and he goes in for the score. Knee never down. That's unbelievable. I'm Gumby.
Good flexibility.
Yes, limber. He must do Bikram yoga. That tied it up at 21. Third quarter, Bucs down 28-21, Tim.
Listen, one of the best efforts you will see in a football game. Malcolm Jenkins, the backside safety. You see Roman Harper in the corner go for the football. Vincent Jackson catches it. You think he's off to the races. Here's the touchdown.
He's lumbering.
How about the hustle by Malcolm Jenkins?
Of the year.
Unbelievable. Touchdown saving tackle. Great play.
It's the longest non-scoring play since 1972, and they get nothing out of it.
Because Malcolm Jenkins wasn't done. Third down, tackle in the backfield, forces fourth down. We know what happens there. They don't score. And you see Josh Freeman here.
Exactly, trying to get something done.
Outstanding play by Malcolm Jenkins.
That was a 14-point swing, essentially, in that one play. Unbelievable job by Malcolm Jenkins because it kept them out of the end zone. That's why you never stop playing. We go to the fourth quarter, 33 seconds left. It's a one-score game, 4th and 1. Freeman finds Vincent Jackson over the middle for a first down. Buccaneers keeping the pressure on, and what a crazy finish here. 3rd and goal, 11 seconds left. Jackson, it's a... No, he didn't get either foot down. It was a right call. Didn't get either foot down.
Yeah, but it was close.
Clip right there.
Close.
And clip. I mean,
if the left one was in, the right one was going to come in with the toe.
Great one. Okay, so here we go. 4th down. All kinds of time. Trying to make something happen, and finally throws it, and there it is! Mike Williams, touchdown! Flag on the play. Flag on the play. Williams pushed out of bounds and catches it. Therefore, he cannot be the first one to touch the ball. Illegal touching. Saints hang on to win 35-28. What a crazy game, and look at the offense. Drew Brees and Freeman, old-fashioned shootout. They combined for 797 yards, including a career-high 420 from Josh Freeman. How about this for the Bucs? They had 513 yards of total offense and no turnovers and lost. That's tied for the most yards ever without a turnover, and somehow they found a way not to win. That was a lot of offense. You want a lot of offense? You usually go play the Buffalo Bills. That's what the Tennessee Titans did.
Wait a minute. What's happening to their defense up there?
Well, they paid a lot and not much is happening. Watch this exchange, all right? It's the old Harvard to Coe College connection. Ryan Fitzpatrick with Frank Jackson. Bills tie it up at 7. 6 seconds later on the game clock. Chris Johnson, goodbye! There he goes, Merrill. 83 yards for the score.
Yeah. One thing in this game that Chris Johnson did a better job of that he hasn't is he's hitting the hole. When there's a hole there, he gets in this alley and goes.
Okay, so that was a touchdown there. And then the ensuing kickoff, Brad Smith takes it the other way, 89 yards. So wait a minute, we had 3 touchdowns in a span of 30 seconds on the game clock, just like that. Go to the third quarter, it's 28-27, 3rd and 2, Fitzmagic to Stevie Johnson for the 27-yard score. The Bills up 34-28. Fitzpatrick had 3 touchdowns, 225 yards. Ensuing Bills possession. Fitzpatrick, what are you doing to Jason McCourty?
Yeah, and this is about as bad as it gets in terms of a decision. You look at the situation, you just want to keep the clock moving, punt, make that offense move. It's classic Tampa 2. It's what it is. You cannot throw a back shoulder fade. The ball should go to Stevie Johnson on the stick route. Instead, you try to throw that back shoulder fade. there's McCourty there for the interception.
All right, so now it's 4th and 9 for Matthew Hasselbeck. Oh, Tiffin Pride! Nate Washington in the end zone. Tim, how did your brother pull this off?
Well, it looks like too deep pre-snap, but it's actually not. You see that near side safety hang on the hash mark, looking up the route of Jared Cook. That leaves Nate Washington on the seam open. Matthew sees it. Good throw. Good adjustment on the ball by Nate Washington.
Unbelievable comeback as Tennessee now has won back-to-back games, 35-34. Another crazy game between the Jaguars and the Raiders. Maurice Jones-Drew and Blaine Gabbert both knocked out of this game. Fourth quarter Raiders down 23-16. Carson Palmer to Darius Hayward-Bay. No, but that's pass interference. Ball placed on the 1. First and goal. Palmer sneaks it in. Raiders tie the game at 23. 6 seconds left. It's a 64-yard attempt for Seabass. When was the last time you heard Sebastian Janikowski short? That never happens. We go to overtime. In overtime, bad Jaguars turnover. Seabass the redemption from 40, and the Raiders hang on to win 26-23. Meanwhile, the Cowboys going to Carolina. They'd won 8 straight against the Carolina Panthers. Jason Garrett and company trying to figure things out. Second quarter, Panthers down 3-0. Second and goal from the 6, and Cam Newton forces it over the middle, and it's intercepted by Morris Claiborne. Missed opportunity. 26 seconds to go in the first half. Another red zone opportunity. Misses Jonathan Stewart wide open at the pylon. But on the very next play, he finds Brandon LaFell here.
Yeah, you see LaFell's running across the formation. Good accurate throw, and LaFell's able to get in right before the pylon.
All right, so the Panthers up 7-3. Third quarter still 7-3. Tony Romo to Miles Austin, and that's about as good a throw as you're going to make. And great footwork, Merrill, by Miles Austin to keep him in bounds.
What a great job of holding off the defender, letting the ball fall in. Tony Romo makes a beautiful throw, but a great help by the wide receiver.
Cowboys up 10-7, but then Mike Tolbert, Chanticleer Pride, comes in. Panthers regain the lead 14-13. 3:28 left. Cowboys go to Team Bailey. Dan Bailey from 28. Cowboys back on top 16-14. He would add another. He was 4 of 4 on the day. 24 ticks left on the clock. It's a 5-point game. Cam's got to do something. Instead, Anthony Spencer does something. Sacks him, and the Cowboys win 19-14.
This taste, this vibe, I'm not buying it, man, and I don't know what it is, but something gonna have to change. Something gonna have to change real fast. You saw it with, countless games where we just find a way to keep the game close and, just wait to see what happened at the end. And I'm getting tired of it, and that's not a formula to win. Domination is a formula to win. I'm gonna leave this room, and I'm gonna bring in a suggestion box, and I want your suggestions to be in that suggestion box because I sure don't know. I really don't. I wish I could tell you, but the only thing I control, sweetheart, is myself.
So we had taste, vibe, suggestion box, and sweetheart. We did have a change. They fired their general manager, Marty Herney. The Panthers have now lost their last 3 games by a combined 11 points. One of the culprits has to be Cam. Among quarterbacks with at least 50 action plays in the fourth quarter this season, only Phillip Rivers and rookie Brendan Whedon have a lower total QBR in the fourth quarter than Cam Newton. But, Tim, I'm not sure people understand. Maybe Cam doesn't. You don't have blowouts very often in this league. Most games come down to the final 2 minutes, and you either make plays or you don't make plays.
Right. There's no doubt about it. And I think when you look at his play and just looking at his play on the field, the biggest difference to me this year from last year is I don't see a guy anticipating as well as he did a year ago. And I think that's the thing that I don't quite understand. Usually you see guys as passers learn to anticipate better. He's passing the ball this year the way I would have expected him to pass with no OTAs, coming out of a different style of offense at Auburn. But it seems like he has been waiting to see it get open. Yeah. Then when it was open, hurry up and rushing to get the ball out there. And then he's missed on throws because of that. And so I don't know if it's been a preparation thing for him, but he doesn't look like the same guy, and the anticipation is not the same.
When I looked at the Carolina Panthers and Cam Newton, the one thing if we have to have perspective, he is in his second year. One of the biggest problems that I see with the Carolina Panthers is you study offenses. Most every offense in the National Football League, and I'll just throw you one out there, the Washington Redskins, they have a staple. They have something they can build their offense from. The Carolina Panthers, they have no staple. Now, They have a stable of running backs that may be the best group in the National Football League, and they never touch the football. If they, like the Washington Redskins, established a power presence from the ground up, the anticipation, Tim, I think you're talking about, it would help. It would help them to be able to generate a passing game, take the pressure off him. I'm watching this game, and it's 4th and 1. And what do? They go on a spread look. If you go to a spread look, you're usually going there because you have a good passing attack. The Carolina Panthers do not have a strong passing attack. They don't win matchups. Tim just mentioned how your quarterback's struggling. But you got 3 guys that are making a ton of money and are good.
Well, that would
are good now.
Maybe why Marty Herney is not there anymore. Well, whatever he paid for those players and whatever they're doing on offense is not meshing right now.
And this the last thing, you know, we sit there and listen to camp, regardless of your first year or second year, and I'll use a guy like RG3. The one thing, you may not have all the answers, but you should know what you're doing wrong. I was never in a locker room or a huddle when we were struggling or doing it that I didn't know what was the problem and how could I help. For him not to even identify that is real concerning if you're a Carolina Panther in that organization.
Yeah, but that type of stuff may be more concerning than the on-the-field stuff.
Yeah. Well, listen, they got to figure it out quickly because their next game is against the Chicago Bears, and we all know the ball hawks the Chicago Bears are. The Cowboys get to host the Giants, which could be bad because they've never beaten the Giants in their new stadium. Ben always likes going back to Ohio. The Findlay, Ohio native continues to have massive success against Ohio NFL teams, and apparently the Texans were a little upset with how they played on Sunday night, and they took it out against an injury-riddled Ravens squad.
It's Monday night, the night that unites us all. Whether we're watching from our favorite chair, enjoying a little pregame snack, seeing how many points we need to win, or doing whatever we have to do to make kickoff.
And the princess says, never mind, and that's the end.
That's not how the story goes.
That's how it goes tonight.
No matter what our plans are, we all know one thing. It all comes down to Monday night.
In 2011, LaShawn Shady McCoy solidified himself as one of the top running backs in the NFL. McCoy recorded a career-high 1,309 rushing yards, while setting a franchise record with 20 total touchdowns. Known for his speed, quickness, and hands, McCoy accumulated over 1,600 yards of total offense. In 2012, look for more teams to focus on McCoy and try to slow him and the Eagles' high-powered offense down.
ESPN America presents Moments in Baseball, a monthly look at history in the making on the field. Play ball! In 1920, Cleveland's Stan Kowalski won his 3rd game in the World Series as the Indians beat the Brooklyn Dodgers 3-0 and won the championship 5-2. Meanwhile, in 1970, the final game at Philadelphia's Connie Mack Stadium was played as the Phillies beat the Expos 2-1. The fans responded by swarming and destroying the field. 10 years later, the Phillies captured their first NL title with an 8-7 win over the Astros in the 5th and final game of the NLCS. While in 1990, the Cincinnati Reds completed one of the biggest upsets in baseball history, beating the Oakland Athletics 2-1 to win the World Series in 4 games. Then, in the 1998 offseason, the New York Mets announced all-star catcher Mike Piazza agreed to a 7-year, $91 million contract, the richest deal in baseball history. Moments in baseball collide with history. All season long, only on ESPN America.
Welcome back to Primetime. I'm Lisa Salters in Chicago with this team report. The Bears are coming off of their bye week, and perhaps the player who benefited most from the break, Brian Urlacher. The 8-time Pro Bowl linebacker has no takeaways and just 20 tackles through 5 games. And he admits he's been somewhat of a spectator on defense so far this season. I'm not playing like I need to be, Urlacher told me. He's still trying to get back to full strength after having off-season knee surgery, but said the knee is not an issue. He said, I'm tired of people using my knee as an excuse because I'm not. But the week off did help him, he said. He says, my whole body feels good and my big plays are gonna come. Now back to Primetime.
Make sure you check out Susie Colbert and Chris Mortensen and a cast of NFL analysts on NFL 32, Monday through Friday, 6 Eastern on ESPN2. Sometimes it's just about location.
Sure is.
Ben Roethlisberger likes playing in Ohio, taking on Andy Dalton and the Bengals. Here now, the sum total of A.J. Green's day. You're going to have one catch, it might as well be for a touchdown. Bengals go up 14-3. All right, 14-6 with 30 seconds left in the half. Ben said before the season he wants to get Heath Miller to the Pro Bowl. I think it's working. Another touchdown there.
In that direction.
They certainly are. 2-point conversion. Tied the game. Tied at 17 in the fourth. How about Chris Rainey? Remember, they were down to backs 3 and 4 on the depth chart here. And it doesn't matter. They go up 24-17. Same score, 3 minutes left, 2nd and 10. Roethlisberger to Mike Wallace, who had his fair share of drops in this game.
Caught that one.
Which might explain why Marvin Lewis challenged whether or not he actually caught that one. Marvin had 2 very curious challenges in this game. Neither one successful. That was a catch. First down Steelers. So 3rd and 6 with just over a minute left, and it's Jonathan Dwyer. I did mention running backs 3 and 4 on the depth chart. Gets the first down, they run out the clock. Steelers win 24-17. Ben now 8-1 lifetime in Cincinnati, 27-5 against Ohio NFL teams. All right, what about the Texans and the Ravens? There's Terrell Suggs, unbelievably back. Had a sack in this game early. First quarter, it's a 3-2 score. Yes, 3-2. Matt Schaub to Kevin Walter for the 25-yard score. It's 9-3. Here's the first play of the second quarter. Tipped by guess who?
J.J. Watt.
That is correct. J.J. Swat to Jonathan Joseph, who returns at 52 yards for the touchdown. Wade Phillips, yeah, look at me. Texans up 16-3. Then it's more. Just Owen Daniels. Are you kidding me?
That's big time right there.
He's back from
throw and catch.
23-3. We told you Terrell Suggs was back, and you know what? People are like, oh, he's not going to play. He can't play it. Not only did he play, he played well. There's the sack we were talking about. Gets down to Matt Schaub, and that wasn't the only thing he did.
The guy was effective. I mean, I think at the end of the day, you look at the situation here, he's impacting the game, which is remarkable, Merrill, when you think about the injuries coming off of him.
He is definitely disruptive. And he is such a force. This right here, look at Matt Schaub.
No, nothing for me today, thanks.
That number 55, wait, I remember him. I'm getting out. 55? Yeah, let me get out.
That's the vision cone. And I'm good. Nothing for me.
Listen, no one in a
business decision for Matt Schaub.
None of his teammates are going to fault him, though.
That is correct. And then Arian Foster with the score. Remember, they were at one point down 3-0 in this game. 98 yards and 2 touchdowns, 40. That was a pounding. The Ravens, well, everything isn't working. You look at worst blowout losses in Ravens history, and this one's right up there, ladies and gentlemen. A 43-13 beatdown. This was after, of course, the Texans were embarrassed on Sunday night. So when you look at this game and you look at what's going on here, the Ravens, where did the running game go? I mean, I think Ray Rice had, 9 carries? They had 12 total rushing attempts. 2 of them were by Joe Flacco. Granted, they got behind early, but that's what they are.
Listen, I love the running game. It isn't just because I was a running back. I just know the impact that it has, the positive impact it can have throughout your team, not just on the offensive side, but the defensive side. And the Ravens are struggling defensively. You got a quarterback in a passing game that is not proficient. It is not scary. It is not dynamic. It is not like the Green Bay Packers. This should be the cornerstone of your offense. Ray Rice, the foundation. If you built from here, Joe Flacco's better, and that defense is better. It was not the Houston Texans that took him out. It was the Baltimore Ravens that took him out. And when they have Ray Rice as an integral part of what they do each and every week, this team is better. Not just the offense, but this team.
Yeah, and you talk about a running game helping your passing game. Well, we know the Texans can run it, so now you look at their passing game off of it. You see here, it's going to basically be sluggo seam, a version of it, and you have a single high safety. Now watch Matt Schaub operate, playing the quarterback position really well. Eyes at Andre Johnson in the double move. That's going to move Ed Reed, the middle of the field safety. And then watch when Matt Schaub tries to reset to come back and throw the seam route. There's static in the pocket. There's a loading on it, but look at him stay coiled, reset, get that ball, shoot it down the seam before anybody can recover on the throw. That's outstanding quarterback play. And you look at Matt Schaub again, managing the pocket. They're going to screw up the pass protection. The quarterback can make things better by managing the pocket and getting the ball out of his hands. The center should work to the right. Instead, he works to the left. That's going to put Arian Foster on Haloti Ngata. That's a problem, folks. But watch Matt Schaub. He's going to manage the pocket, just a little bit of a sidestep to avoid the pressure at his feet, and then deliver a strike to Andre Johnson down the field. This is a tremendous job of quarterback play. We talk about that defense, that run game. Matt Schaub, heck of a job against Baltimore.
Remember, these two teams came in 5-1. They were the best two teams in the AFC. Clearly, the Houston Texans took that to another level. You talked about the Ravens defense. The Ravens defense has been in the top 10 in NFL in yards and points allowed in each of the previous 4 seasons. They are nowhere near the top 10 in either of those categories right now.
10 handoff, Adrian to the left, steps up to the right across the 10 to the 5. Bulldogs to the end zone. Touchdown! 13-yard touchdown by Adrian Peterson.
Well, clearly Adrian Peterson running like Adrian Peterson again, much to the delight of one Merrill Hodge. Plus, if AP looks fine, Aaron Rodgers looks amazing. Wait till we tell you what he's done in his last 2 games.
With the season coming to a close, for some, it's sheer joy. For the others, it's game over. Who has what it takes? Who is programmed to win? The MLB World Series. All the action at your fingertips. It all starts Wednesday at 01:30 CET, live on ESPN America.
Makes the snap, scrambles up the middle, breaks the tackle. He's to the 30.
Wayfair, Wilson, buys time, stands strong. 38-yard try to win it in regulation. Cardinals are ready. Leach to snap.
Up the sideline 50. RG3 electrifying all the way into the end zone. RG3 for the touchdown.
Goes deep down the middle. Got a man out there. Sidney Rice. He's got it. He's got it. Touchdown. Seahawks. Ball down. Feely's kick is up. Oh, it hit the upright. No good. And we go to overtime.
Holy smokes. Can you believe it?
Has anybody seen Dealer Stan? Oh, probably out the pool.
Suits on, pool is the rule. We're having the time of our lives. Time, oh man, it's almost time for the show. Stan, don't kill my buzz.
Catch SportsCenter 7 days a week on ESPN America.
Well, for me personally, I didn't feel very good last year. It's kind of the position we're in sometimes.
From a catcher's perspective, it was always one of my favorite plays. From a manager's position now, you shudder at the thought of you guys getting hurt at a play at the plate.
It's part of baseball, and it's, you know, they're trying to get that run, and we're trying to keep them from getting it.
It feels like you're getting hit by a train.
You know, if Brian McCann's catching back there, I'd probably just put him into the wall.
Primetime continues with the Packers and the Rams. And look, the Rams unbeaten at home coming into this game, but Aaron Rodgers just didn't care at all in the slightest. Jordy Nelson, great throw, great catch. Come on, there's no defense for that. It's 7-3. Third quarter, Packers still up 10-6. Second and goal at the 5. Show me Randall Cobb wide open there and a nice throw. It's 17-6. All of this pales in comparison. If you appreciate the artistry of quarterback, enjoy it, folks. Rodgers to Cobb again.
I mean,
come on. That's ridiculous.
You know what? It is ridiculous. That's why it's the Prime Tim Dime. You know, remember the E is silent. Look at this guy. You kidding me? Gets flushed outside the pocket, moving to his left. Guy running vertically up the field, across the field, perfectly thrown. That is insane.
Unbelievable. By the way, he has 9 touchdowns and 0 interceptions in his last 2 games. As for the Cardinals, Larry Fitzgerald and company going back to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. You know, everybody's like, what's Adrian Peterson going to be okay? He's fine, Merrill. He's fine.
Let's ask Arizona.
Yeah.
How's he looking, folks? Pretty good.
Drags defenders for 25 yards. Later in that drive, Peterson, who had not been in the end zone in a while, that must change. Oh, he still makes you pay because he's the
cashier, my friend.
That is correct. How about a little more Adrian Peterson?
Oh, just hit that.
Gutting the defense right there. Peterson was huge, 153 yards and a touchdown. Christian Ponder was not huge. Remember, he went the first 4 weeks of the season without throwing an interception?
Really good.
That was good. Since then, not so good.
That's a dumb one.
Yeah, to Paris Lennon. He was 8 of 17 for 58 yards. Vikings defense, though, bailed out Ponder. Where's Jared Allen? There's Jared Allen. Well, you know if you play in the Arizona offensive line, you're going to get sacks. Fourth quarter, same score. Where's Kevin Williams? Oh, he's on John Skelton. There he is. Vikings win 21-14. They moved to 4-0 at home. But about that seal of approval.
Trey, Adrian Peterson gets better each and every week, and I love what the Minnesota Vikings do. Little wrinkles to help him in the running game. The thing I want you to focus on right here is Percy Harvin. He's going to come in motion and run all the way across here. Now, we're going to snap the ball. I want you to show the effect and the reaction by the Cardinals when this happens. When Percy comes in motion, look at he starts to release. As he starts to release right here, look what happens to the Cardinal defenders on that side. He runs this way, and he runs this way. Well, where's Adrian Peterson running? He's running downhill this way. Well, that side of the defense, look at those guys. They react this way. They're coming after Adrian Peterson. And what has happened here? Right out of the gate, we have a seal here and a seal here and a beautiful alley that Adrian Peterson gets to. He cuts back in there, that little wrinkle. We have our seal of approval, helps Adrian Peterson get in the end zone. Each week they get better and better, Trey.
Merrill, they certainly do. And how about the Colts each week continuing to get better and better? Brandon Weeden versus Andrew Luck. And congratulations, Indy has already surpassed their win total from a year ago. And remember we talked about RG3 and all his runs? How about Andrew Luck? He had a pair, 2 rushing touchdowns on the day. Colts win at 17-13. Weeden, though, played pretty well in the loss. All right, time for the Visa Epic Play. And, well, it's hard to beat a 77-yard scoring strike under 2 minutes to play. Victor Cruz putting this one away with a game-winning score, 70-plus yards, 4th straight game with at least 1 touchdown, an epic win for the Giants. All right, that was the epic play. Time now for our fantasy studs and duds. Tim, you start us off. Who gets the upside for you?
Well, it's got to be Josh Freeman. Are you kidding me? With this performance against the New Orleans Saints, he was an absolute stud. You look at this, 28 fantasy points, 3 touchdowns, 420 yards passing, not a single turnover out of Josh Freeman. That's an outstanding fantasy performance.
Well, let's just stay in on that offense.
You guys just like the uniform.
Threw it for all those yards. Why not go Vincent Jackson, who was the recipient of 216 yards, and bottom line is 27 fantasy points, period.
Yeah, they needed 217 yards, so that one he was tackled on the one. I'm going to give it to Chris Johnson, 31 fantasy points, 18 rushes, 195 yards, and 2 touchdowns. It was his best game since the last time he played the Buffalo Bills, when he had 130-plus yards and 2 touchdowns a year ago. Let's go the other way. Who gets it?
Fantasy Des Bryant. Trey, last week you said maybe his best game as a Cowboy.
Yeah.
This one, yeah, not so much. 2 receptions, 14 yards, and a whopping 1. Count them 1 fantasy points for Des Bryant.
Mine is Christian Ponder. Started out the season gangbusters. We have falling off the tracks.
Yeah.
With only 2 points and 58 yards, not going to cut it for your fantasy.
So his fantasy points matched his interception total,
Very good.
too. Not what you're looking for.
Symmetry.
I'm going with Mike Wallace. I mean, this is a guy who can make electric plays, but he had the dropsies in this game, and many of those drops really changed the game. He could have had 15 20 fantasy points.
Crazy.
Yeah. Ridiculous. If you missed a single touchdown in several of the Gangnam-style celebrations, sadly, we have them all for you. All the TVs coming up.
Zone! Chris Johnson, 83 yards, and he approves this message. Touchdown, Titans!
With the season coming to a close, for some, it's sheer joy. For the others, it's game over. Who has what it takes? Who is programmed to win? The MLB World Series. All the action at your fingertips. It all starts Wednesday at 01:30 CET, live on ESPN America.
Warren Moon back to pass, sets up, throws down the middle of the goal line, touchdown.
He wants to go deep. He's firing it deep.
Moon goes deep, has a man, hits him.
I never look behind. I always look forward.
60,000 yards for Warren Moon.
My body said keep playing. My heart said keep playing. So I kept playing.
Get her up here. I need you to cover for me. You've worked this thing before, right?
Nope.
You know what it does, right?
No.
It's pretty simple. No. You're gonna do great.
You're my superstar!
Prepare for your bones to rattle. Raw speed and power. Noise and flame mightiness. The loudest machines on the planet are here to roar. NHRA drag racing. It's louder on ESPN America.
Welcome back to Primetime. I'm Lisa Salters in Chicago with a team report. The Bears defense is tied for the league lead in takeaways with 17, including 13 interceptions. And as usual, cornerback Charles Tillman is a big part of that. In addition to his 32 career interceptions, he's also forced 30 fumbles, something he specializes in and has become known for, particularly how he punches the ball out of the grasp of opposing players. You can always punch it out, Tillman said. When a guy is falling to the ground and puts one hand down to break his fall, in that split second, you gotta punch it. Now back to Primetime.
Washington at the New York Giants. 7-3 Giants second quarter. Tim Hasselbeck. Darnarian McCann's touchdown skins.
That's Tim Hasselbeck with our primetime flashback this year.
Tied with Reggie White.
Congratulations, Tim. That was in 2003.
But in the fourth quarter with the score 20-7. Jesse Palmer might as well face
Jesse Palmer also employed by us.
Bruce Smith, sack record.
Career
there you go.
sack number 199 for Bruce Smith. First all time, and here's the move.
Yeah, technically, what a great
So there you
move.
have
You
it.
see the overall,
We had a little bit of
underneath
Tim. You had
right
2 touchdowns in that game.
What do you think? Actually, do you think what was the bigger play there?
I don't know.
Bruce Smith's record-setting sack.
I don't know, but here are all the big
touchdown?
plays from Week 7. See you.
Shucking, bucking, mad at it. Got it.
He's in. Touchdown.
They give it to Chris Johnson, starts up the middle, bounces out to the right. He dives, touchdown, Titans. Give Chris Johnson, looking for room up the middle, finds it. 20, 30, end zone. Chris Johnson, 83 yards, and he approved this message. Touchdown, Titans.
Throw. Deep ball down the middle of the field. He's got Bruce. Touchdown Giants. 73 yards.
Hasselbeck takes the snap, fires into the end zone for Washington. He caught it. He held it. Touchdown, Titans. What a play.
4 yards deep in the end zone, runs it out left to the 5, 10, 15, alley, 20, 20. He's going all the way. Devin McCourty, 104-yard kickoff return.
Ran on the run at the 30, 35, 40. He may go all the way. Touchdown, Fred Smith.
ESPN America. American for sports.